we're going to begin painting. And we're going to start with the Kaleido's acrylic K110 gloss Forge Red. This is, I put in about maybe, I would say 20% of the paint inside the reservoir on my Gallery Ace GHAC 98 dual airbrush. And this is not thin, by the way. Let's wait until that turns off a bit. You know what? I'm going to wait until it fills up. And I'm going to turn off the tank. I should have a good couple of, maybe a good 10 minutes of air, maybe 3 or 4 minutes. Let's see what happens. That's a very good red. I'm gonna zoom in a bit more. Oh, I am zoomed in. I thought I wasn't. Let's do the a slightly larger one. Let's see this one right here. That looks really nice. Now, that's part of the Ale Strike. Now, let me do the part of the strike itself. Now, the tank is already going to be a little bit empty right now, but I think I know why. I had the, I'm going to turn it back on again. I had the compressor, I think on a higher PSI reading. Let me see. No, PSI was pretty good. I had like under 15. This is the part that goes on the head. Waist unit. Or not the waist unit, the abs. I know this is the part of the launcher system. And I did, when I painted the launcher gun, there was red parts, like two little tiny red parts there, which I'm going to hand paint so there's no reason for me to mask it off and paint off that area. What else did I have here? No. Oh, I know I'm missing something. I gotta go back to the table. This will touch here. Oh, that tank must have been really empty. I think there may be a leakage here. There we go. That's much better now. And here's, of course, the chin area. Good. And let me do a wing. One of the wings here. Okay, so right now we're going to begin the next color. Now, I didn't throw this on camera because there were so few parts for this. I painted the yellow parts using the sunset orange color, which is yellowish in its own right. As you can see here, this one came out okay. It's a little glossy. It was only a few parts. Get that out of the way. And I just discovered one of the parts one of the red parts I missed, so I'm going to get back to that later on. But right now we're going to begin with Armored Gray K120. Now, since there were a lot of parts here, this is 2 to 3 drops of the thinner. So I did put in more thinner in this. So let's see how it looks. Plus I clocked down the PSI a bit. Okay. Oh, yeah, this is the part that I had to glue together, so I'm going to paint the inside of this. And then I'm going to mask it off so I can paint the outside. Shoulders. That's good. Very good. All right. This is the crotch, the waist unit. Okay. And that's part of the back leg, the inside of the part that holds up the foot. Okay. Part of the chest. Good. Very nice. And I know this is part of the leg. And then there's the other part that's the flip side of that, which is this one right here. As that part wraps around that. Very nice. Now there's a couple of small parts here. I want to make sure I cover it. Like, I know this is part of the, that's part of the assembly of the sword. Alright. And that was also from the sword part. I know this is the hand right here. Good. And let's put something like this one right here. This is actual connection to the part that makes up the strike, the perfect strike packs, you could say. So I'm going to paint this color. Okay. Okay. Others are joints and connections, which you guys are familiar with. So let me finish up all this. It should be very fast. And then we will move on to the next color. Alright, I've already replaced the filter. Came in the mail, the filters from Amazon that I ordered. Put a new board here, make it nice and presentable. Obviously it's going to be dirtied up later on, and I'm making a mess here because I'm looking for a part that I, oh yeah, there it is, that I need to paint. Jesus. Here it is. So the next color will be armored carbon. Let's see how it feels. Put that there. Yeah, it's coming up nice and smooth. I'm not turning it on yet because there's not much of a kickback, but I may end up doing it in a minute. Let me just angle this a bit so you guys can see this proper. And this is all the black color parts because there's only very few of it here. Yeah, that's good. Alright. Looks good. I could do the other ones, but I'm going to do the big boy. And considering how much paint this thing has, I'm going to add a little bit more of this in the reservoir. I could probably thin it down a little bit more. Maybe put in a drop or two. And that's something I would like to do, like send a survey to gallery. And maybe this is for other companies. Okay, these bottles are nice. It's these little pop-up things that you see here that opens up. Because if you would have to probably open up and use like this, like a siphoning product to remove whatever you want and put it in there. But then, you know, you have to open this up and do it all the time. It would have been nice if they would have included something like this as an attachment to put onto this. I don't know if maybe a company does make that, and then I can replace this with that cover. Let me just put a drop here, so there we go. And I'm going to mix that up a bit. Because it'd be a lot easier to dispense this than using a what do you call it? Using the thing there. Okay, this one's a little bit smooth out, so let's do this. You know what? There is some particles hitting me back, so I'm going to turn on this. So a few drops of thinner, and I said it before, like 10% will work on this. But remember to feel it out a bit and make sure your airbrush is nice and clean for this to work out. Oh yeah. Good. And obviously I'm going to need to mask this off so I can paint the right. Maybe I can hand paint it. Not a big deal. I'll do this one and then. Let me finish up the remaining black parts, and we will move on to the next color.